Welcome everybody to this week's podcast. What date are we at today? I know it's June. What we on? It's the 21st, Monday, bringing this podcast from the UK to the rest of the world. Anyone else struggling with a Monday? Tune in. Let's get it started. Let's get it pitched. Anyone else who's not seen the podcast before, can you do me the amazing thing so you don't miss anymore? Press subscribe in the bottom right corner of the screen. I do podcasts for the Mindfulness and Positivity group, which we love. I also make videos. I've just made a video on the town which I live in, which I've loved. I live in a place called Kendal in the Lake District. If you want to see it, press subscribe, bottom right-hand corner of the screen, and you'll be able to see all my videos, not miss any podcasts. Right, we've got someone on today. We have got Lee Goodrick today. I've been excited about this. I haven't told Lee. I can just see him down there. I know you can see me, Lee. I didn't tell you it was live to the group, Lee. So I'm going to bring him straight in now. I'm going to bring him. Oh, on that good news, I'll bring him straight in now. Hey, Lee.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for that surprise.
I only started doing it last week, and there was a lady called Anka who was lovely. And I didn't tell her as well, because you might have got, I don't know what you were going to think about it, but what difference does it make?
Yeah, I guess.
Do you know what I think, right? This is what I think about it. And this is why I want to do it. That we all, like, people get worried of stuff happening, don't they? They create fears and anxiety that are controlled by different things. Or you don't have them. And I choose not to have them.
That's a great decision. We're always going to feel an emotion, but whether we connect that with excitement or fear, that's the difference. So I even though I feel the fear, you just got to do it anyway. But thanks.
Yeah, I'm not. No, I used to live a life pretending to myself that I didn't feel fear. You know, like the big man. I don't feel fear. I'm a real man. Real men don't feel fear. And then after a bit, I realized I fear quite a lot of things, but it's fear that I am attracted to.
Yeah, I get that.
I love the beads. Are they symbolic?
A good friend made them for me. They inspire transformation, protect my energy from negative stuff coming in. But they're just a good reminder that I'm in control of my life, not some mystical power. So
I'm with you there. I read one of your things, actually. I don't normally do much work on people, but I had you for some reason as called Lee Childs. All weekend I've been thinking I've got Lee Childs Monday. I've got Lee Childs. I got there and I thought, I can't find Lee Childs on the... I've got the wrong person. I don't know what that is, but you wrote this. And I thought this was like really... I loved it. Feel good about yourself without feeling the need for anyone else's approval. Love that, mate.
Cheers.
You've got it on your Facebook thing as well, which is a prominent thing to think. I love that. I think that's where a lot of fear comes from.
Not enough people love and like themselves first. We're always looking for external validation. But Facebook is an example. We want to be liked by other people. If you like yourself first, then no one else's opinion matters, which actually allows you to break free and become the person that you've always known yourself to be.
I totally agree with that. Totally agree. So what's your weekend been like before we move on? Are you a football fan?
No.
So you weren't like me on Friday watching something with a big build-up. Like, football's a bit like life if you go wrong. If you build everything up to be a big thing and then get disappointed when it doesn't happen. And I don't do that in my life, but I do it with football.
Yeah, I like the analogy of sports, but with sports, there's an end result. There's a finish. With life, it just carries on. There's no right or wrong rules, regulations. You just keep moving forward. So,
yeah, football's like, I don't know, it's like a passion of mine that I used to be. I don't know, it's not my everything, but I enjoy it. You know, I'm passionate about being Brit. I'm passionate about being British. It's interesting enough because we're representing England now, and I'm quite passionate about being British, Where are you, Lee? Where are you based?
I'm in Nottingham.
Right.
I've lived all over, so my accent tends to be quite varied.
Go on, where you lived?
So I started off in life in London, lived in Manchester.
Where in Manchester?
Deansgate.
Oh, right. Yeah, right. Right, City Centre. I'm from an area of Manchester, so I know it.
Yeah, I can hear your accent.
Yeah, can you?
Newcastle,
Oh,
Leeds,
nice.
Hong Kong, New
I've
York.
been,
So
I've been Hong Kong 5 days. One of the maddest experiences of my life. I went there for a big exhibition to look at. I was going to do because I'm quite entrepreneurial. I was going to sell helicopters at Christmas, so I went to Hong Kong for 5 days, and that jet lag. Oh my god! I got to Hong Kong at 2 in the. I got there at 2 in the morning, but I'd slept on my flight. Got there at 2 in the morning. I had to be at this thing at 9 in the morning. I thought I'll get my head down. Didn't get the head down. 4 o'clock in the morning. Look, still not got my head down. 6 o'clock in the morning. I think, no, as long as I get 2 hours. It got to 7:30. I thought I'm just gonna have to get up. And I went to this exhibition, and it was where's that amazing view where you're near the harbour, and in this exhibition hall, I'd not known about this view. I'm walking around it like the living dead, and we hit this big window that shows one of the nicest views I've ever seen in my life. But I was that tired, I just went. Just kept walking on. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah, no, I get it. I always get people say, "Oh God, I wish I could work or live in New York. It must have been amazing." It is, but when you're there and you're in it, you just take it for granted.
Yeah.
Like, because I worked there, you just get on with your life. You don't really recognize.
What did you do there? What were you doing there?
So for a long time, I was a hairdresser for 22 years.
I own a hairdresser's. I'm underneath it right now. So I'm under in the floor above. I'm in a commercial building, and I've owned an hairdresser's for about 50. I'm not an hairdresser, but just above me, they're cutting hair right now. Small world.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. But I was a cosmetologist, so I specialize in chemical services.
Okay.
So I worked for flagship salons and worked everywhere.
Wow. Is that another word for colouring? Cosmopolitan.
A cosmetologist.
Sorry, I'm useless with words. I'll just say it now. I'm terrible. Go on. What is it?
You know what? If you told me something in football, I wouldn't have a clue. A cosmetologist just means that we specialize in an area within hairdressing.
Okay, right. Okay.
Like in the UK, we would call it like a colour specialist.
Yeah.
Internationally, it's just recognized as a cosmetologist.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll give you. Do you want me, I can give you an instant thing of I've experienced something through colour. So my hair is going grey. I'm in my 40s. I've known about it going grey. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to dye it. I'm going to dye it before it even happens, and then no one will know. So I dyed it myself with one of them home. Even though I have the salon, I didn't want to say out to any of them about dyeing my hair, so I did it. And then I went to my friend's house. Forgot I'd done it. I walked in, and his wife just walked up. She went like this. And I went, "What, Becca?" She went, "What have you done to your hair?" And I went, "No, why now?" She went, "You look stupid." That's what she said. "You look stupid." And then I looked, I have got a picture, and it went like a reddy colour. So I gave in on that. And then I tried this grey shampoo, Just for Men. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I used that, and I thought that was the best thing ever because it didn't make it look. It kept your colour. Brill loved it, and I started getting this weird reaction in my eyebrows here, and then this summer here, and I basically was getting reaction here and here, and it was at that point I realised I'm going to be grey. I accepted it.
So I'm on TikTok as well, trying to help the masses. And
what's your name on TikTok? Because I quickly looked at you going, what is it though? Because I've not really looked. Going, what's your name on TikTok? Is it Lee?
No, it's breakfree.lg.
Breakfree.lg. Because I'm going to look into that. How are you getting on?
Yeah, it's good. I've been on there a month and I've got just over 15,000 followers.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
My actual story is quite unique.
I know.
I think it appeals to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And
Are you going to touch on that? I thought I'd leave it. I did see in one of your previous posts your story, and I think your story is very personal to you, and everyone's got a story. And I thought yours is a very interesting one, but it's a great example of transformation.
I think there's lots of different aspects in my story that appeals to a hell of a lot of people.
I agree.
But the reason why I'm Break Free is because that's the name of both of my books. So I just thought just carry it all the way through, and then people know who I am.
Awesome. So you've got a book as well, 2 books as well.
Yeah, I'm published.
Amazing.
Literally blows my mind. But I decided. I won't go into it. But I was homeless this time last year.
Oh, was that soon ago? Last year, was it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I just decided to write a book. Never used a laptop either. So I had to buy a laptop, learn how to use that, wrote a book in 3 months. Then it was published, and now it's sold worldwide.
Amazing. So go on, what led you to be, so how old are you, Lee? I can ask you that because you're a man.
40.
40, all right.
Yeah.
So what brought you to be homeless a year ago?
Anything that we make a choice of, or anything that we go through in life, always has a consequence, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
My life up until that point was just a series of bad choices. I was homeless because it was a result of what I'd done. And it is that simple.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to blame things on other people, other circumstances, but at the end of the day, we all have a choice, which sounds incredibly tough, but even if you can't change your environment or your situation, you can change your mindset on how you see it. And COVID hit. I had a lot of time in a bed sit of doing absolutely nothing. My day was just waking, doing nothing with my day, watching Netflix, going to sleep. And that was it. I literally just thought, well, how about if I create a self-help book that shares 80% of my story with people so that they know that they're not alone, but then I give them a skill to help them out of their own darkness. But yeah, it's mad. I can't
good
say
mad.
Yeah,
good mad.
Like every day my mind is blown. Like this Christmas just gone, I had 3 people in my life that I spoke to on a daily basis and that I trusted. Now I speak to hundreds of people every week from all around the world. This morning I was talking to a friend, a reader in Australia at 4 a.m. UK time. And then at 11 p.m. last night, I was talking
You were up at 4. You were up at 4.
Yeah, because we all know what it's like to feel lost, isolated, alone, desperate. When it's so quiet, it feels like it's deafening. So if I can be awake for someone for an hour or so on the other side of the planet, just so that they don't feel alone, that's what I'll do. We're all human. We should all love and respect each other. We should always be there for anybody, even if we don't particularly like them. So
yeah, I know exactly what you. I've got a big life event going. I'm not in it. There's a massive meeting going on at 12 o'clock today of someone that's done something to me and someone else. Something that's pretty horrific that they did something to us, and I've had to your story is about forgiveness. I'm writing that, and I think that forgiveness is the greatest gift that we can place to ourselves on everything that ever goes on. Like I've had to do it recently. I've had a life-changing event that happened a year ago. And it's funny enough, it's coming to a head today. It's either coming to a head or it's very much near it. And recently I forgave myself for my involvement in it because it's that blame, isn't it? I could choose to blame those who because it wasn't my fault what happened, but there was fault in me that helped them to be able to do what they did. Do you know what I mean? And it was just recently, I've become your mind is something that you can control at all times. I believe that. I believe that we can be in control of ourselves at all times. If we do what you said before, accept that emotions are real and we've got to feel them. So recently I've been feeling a lot of acceptance of like, it's like seeing the thing that I've been getting, accepting I made a mistake. And not, I don't blame anyone for anything anymore, because this one, I just look at myself, because I'm going to make it through with just me. Do you know what I mean? If I go around blaming everyone, I'll never have a, do you know what I mean? I'm a procrastinator. I'm this, I'm that. I can either get caught up in the blame or think, how am I going to deal with it?
Yeah. I think it was Buddha. I hate to do quotes, but I literally live by this quote, and it helped me to break free.
Go on.
I think it was, holding on to hate is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
I read that recent. I love it.
It literally eats you up.
Yeah.
I don't know what you know, but the people that may watch this, I was abused by my dad sexually from the age of 5 for 11 years by him and his paedophile friends. And I held on to that hate, disgust, vileness for 30 years, and it destroyed my life. If you can't forgive, just call it letting go.
Yeah.
Go, so that your past doesn't ruin your future.
Yeah.
You deserve to have something absolutely phenomenal. But because of what we've gone through in our past, or the people, or the hate, or the toxins that we're holding on to, it makes us believe that we don't deserve it, and that what happened to us is our fault. No, it's not our fault. It's the fault of the people that did it to us, because they're messed up or they're screwed up.
Yeah.
You have this choice. Let it go or hang on to it. But either way, you're going to have a consequence from that.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that comes into, like, that's your story that you let go of. I let go of something recently. And I think when I see people who are struggling, like, I help people to overcome struggles. And sometimes yours is a massive thing that you've had to overcome. I think we both, that's massive, huge, and you did it. Some people's is very small. Some people have these amazing lives and they create a little tiny anchor that they've decided is their life ruiner. And then we look at someone like yourself overcoming great things, and we've got to take something from that. We've got to look at ourselves and think, really, what's going on with me? Is it as big as what I'm making it be? You know, because people have, like your story, then we hear of people overcoming things who've come across on dinghies and be left out at sea, or there's lots of different things happening to lots of different people in the world. And I just think letting go is so precedent, isn't it?
Yeah, massively. I was talking to a reader the other day. Also blows my mind. She's in Brazil, which is mad. Absolutely.
We've got someone on now who's in South Africa. I'm going to read what he just said in a minute. Someone I've done before.
Mad.
I know.
It's just mad. It doesn't matter if you've got a beautiful life from the outside and you're going through a divorce, or your partner has done something to you that you feel like you don't deserve. That you can hang on to that, and that will still create hate, self-loathing, and that will destroy you in your life and everyone around you if you let it. It doesn't matter if you've been abused, or you've been molested, or you lost your job, or you're having this divorce, or your kid is a little terror and they're doing drugs and being naughty. It doesn't matter how big or how small it is. To that person, that may be the worst thing that they've ever gone through in their entire life emotionally.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of people that don't allow others to be validated. We have to listen to actually what's going on, and we have to listen to what people are saying and understand their emotions. Let them know that it's okay that they are perfect, because they're imperfect. We're all imperfect. And it's an imperfect world, which actually makes us perfect to help each other. So it doesn't matter how big or how small you think it is, it still matters to you.
But what I think the breakthrough of it is that when you identify to a lot of people that are going, if there's 1,000 people and you've got 950 of them living a life of such a small thing that's easily changeable by a perception or a thought, then you can have a breakthrough with all them people. Some people are the bigger the thing that's happened, the bigger the trauma that comes with it. And I think that some people's trauma isn't possibly as big as others. Like I went through a divorce, and to some people it crushes them. To other people, it makes a stronger relationship. I have like a superb relationship with my kids' mum. She actually works in the hairdressers, funnily enough. So she's not here today, but she'd normally be here. And she comes in and we have a great thing and it's a blessing. So instead of I decided, well, it was a two-way thing, because if she wasn't a nice person, I wouldn't be able to get on with her. So I'd have to then do it differently. But she's a lovely person. So it's easy, so every divorce is different in that respect. But when people are battling life, battling circumstance, battling, thing, no one wins the battle. And like the battle internal thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but some people think that they do. And some people like to think that they're better than others because that makes them feel better. In the long run, not really.
No.
There's only you in your own head at the end of the day.
I've said this. What I'm worried I'm going to be guilty of is saying the same things on these podcasts. But I read this thing recently, and this really resonated with me. It said, "Who you think you are, Lee, is very and I'm honestly using you on me. Who you think you are is very independent to you, because you said to me at one stage you were speaking to 3 or 4 people. Now you're speaking to more people, and in your life now you go to the shop. You probably got a lot of people just go the writers. All right." You've never actually spoke to them, but you said all right to them for the last 25 years. You've never had a conversation, but they have an image of who you are. Yeah. So theirs is independent. And then I have an image of who you are, of a short thing of knowing it. Who we actually are is built up of multitude of other people's thoughts and things. And the thing is with me, I'm changing every single day as well. Well, I'm trying to get to I'm trying to go up in a wisdom ladder that one day I look back and I think of all the things before as stepping stones to where I am now. So we're all changed. So who we actually are is very independent, I reckon you're not the guy you were a year ago.
I'm not the guy that I was a month ago. As humans, we're built to adapt to a change. That's why we still exist. That's why we're still around. You just have to remember that while ever you're still breathing, while ever the sun sets and rises, you always have another chance to make another difference, different change. And personally, from my own experience, because I've been so lost and isolated for such a long time, I always make sure that I don't just say, "Hiya, you're all right, you're having a good day." I will literally stop. And if someone's got nice hair or they've got a nice smile, I'll let them know. Holding that on to myself, oh, she's beautiful, he's gorgeous, whatever. Holding that on isn't benefiting anybody else. And, the person that you stop and talk to in the street, or the cashier that you see at the shop, maybe they've not had a real conversation with someone for a month or 2 months, and they feel like they don't matter, that they're not worthy of someone's attention. So I always try and engage with someone, just because you don't know what someone else is going through. And what you was just saying, and creating a post later about manifesting, but the thing that we see, the way that we exist, is how we interpret the world around us. So how I see a red car and you see a red car, they can be completely different. But that red car to somebody else may just be a regular red car.
Yeah.
I think it's important to actually realize where the space that you're in, if that makes any sense. I'm just talking a little bit.
No. I what you said at the beginning, but I love, because I think exactly the same, that I am that. I think there's people who are connectors, and you're saying you're a connector, that when I go out, I make an effort to talk to people I don't know. I know loads of people, but the ones I don't know, they're the ones I met the more. Like when I go in a shop, I'm the exact same. Say like Pound Stretchers across the way. There are other shops available. So Pound Stretchers across the way, and there's that much serving people, that much serving. And when you stop and you go, "How's it going?" They're a bit shocked, because everyone's in this chain of doing. And when you do that, you see a different light in someone's eyes. And I exceptionally love that.
I hate this reference. But we're not plugged into the matrix. We're not. We're free to do whatever we want, or whatever we think we want to do. We're free to think that. Just unplug. Everyone's a person. Everyone has emotions. Everybody has feelings. And some people might think, "Oh, I'm not as confident as you." Do you know what? Since you messaged me, I've been thinking of every single reason to cancel.
Oh, thanks for not.
Oh, like
thanks for not, mate.
My anxiety has been through the roof. And a couple of years ago, I used to be on antipsychotics, beta blockers, antidepressants, SSRIs. And last November, I decided just to completely come off them. I can't recommend that to anybody else. And if you are taking medication, please make sure that you speak to your doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
In there. I just felt like I was completely numb to everything and everyone around me. I didn't care. Once I came off that, I feel like yesterday I spent most of the day crying because of this podcast.
Oh, mate. Oh,
like, anxiety through the roof.
Yeah, yeah.
And just before, while I was trying to figure out how to connect, I felt like I was waiting for the biggest roller coaster of my entire life.
Sorry.
But, you know,
all self brought on. We bring it on ourselves. By that's what. Do you know what? I've started doing them live because, like, I get nervous and stuff. I don't get nervous about this because it's having a conversation. It's probably the only thing I'm really good at. You know, having a conversation with someone is something I love. It's a passion. But I do it live. First ever one was last one. There's never been a problem before. 15 minutes we couldn't connect. So I'm live going, all right, this is Answer. I'm going to bring him in. Didn't connect. I had to fill 15 minutes. And you know what? I won't have filled it as good as Ant and Dec are phenomenal. You know what I mean? To anyone non-British, Ant and Dec are our best presenters. They do it live. They're awesome. I was like, I could feel myself. You know, I was feeling it, but I almost want to show that I'm feeling that so people can understand it. That what? So what if I cocked up? So what if I made a mistake? So what if I say words wrong? So what on any of it? What does it actually matter? Because most people watching this are kind, good people. And that's we're to a kind and good group. It's not all them other ones, them bad energies that we've left behind. They're not seeing it. They're not seeing it in my life, you know, unless they're looking for it. And if they're looking for it, all right, we're looking for change.
You know, not to put anybody off, but in the Bible, because we always talk about books that inspire us. The Bible's been around a very long time. And there's a quote or a psalm in there that says, feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
And this year, literally, my life has completely changed. And, you know, just before we connected, I was like, oh, God, my ring light thing fell over. And
yeah.
But just do it, because you don't know that someone might see your face or might hear your voice.
Yeah.
Thinking about just, you know what, I've had enough. I'm going to take my life. I can't cope with this pain any longer. You may just give them a little bit of light.
That's what I always hope.
So
let me just give you. Have you ever seen the YouTube video about the man jumping off the bridge in San Francisco? That's a famous suicidal point.
I know of it, but I don't think I've seen it.
It's the most powerful thing ever. If after this thing, I'll send it you on my thing. I'll send you a YouTube link. It's a guy, and he's now a motivational speaker because he was going through depression. So 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. Do you know when I'm a YouTuber? I have a YouTube channel. I love watching crap on YouTube. I love it. So I don't normally watch it in the morning. I normally do. I've got like little morning routines and all that. But on this morning, I've got all the kids there. So there's 4 of them. There's me and Julie and 4 kids. They're both mine. Both of hers are there. And at 8 in the morning, I'm sat at the table. Everyone's doing the thing. And I start watching this video. Oh, my God. There was 2 things that did it for me. One, that anyone who's suicidal makes me feel sad and I want to help them. I mean, everyone makes me feel, you know, I want to help everyone. I don't, you know, that this life is as good as what we want to create. And I believe that everyone can create it once we start really looking inside ourselves and making changes that help habits to form it. And I think I can help most people, not everyone, because not everyone can be helped. And he said on that day, he had a really sportive dad, and his dad was like, oh, I need to see to you. He sacked him off. He gets on this bus. And the bit that made me feel 2 things happened in this video. One was he was on the bus. He said, I was on the bus and I was upset, and everyone could see I was upset. And all I needed was just one person to say, you all right? And what made me feel upset is because I know I would have. I couldn't allow, if I saw anyone upset, or I think I'm like, are you okay? Is everything all right? I'll say it to everyone. So I feel like I wish I could have been there. And there was that, made me feel emotional. Then when he said, oh, this is like, as soon as I let go of the bridge, it was at that point that I knew I wanted to live. But he's jumped off this huge bridge. So without wanting to spoil it for you, he lands in the water, and something weird happens in the water. I will save it for you so you watch it in the video. But when he gets out, they said to him, do you know how many people have made it off this jump? And he went, how many? He went, one. That's you. We've had 150 fatalities, and you're the only one to ever make it. And he was obviously battered and bruised. And now he's gone on to turn that, like you, into a powerful story that helps other people.
Do you know what? I think most of the time why people don't reach out to people that they can see are in distress is because they feel like they're not worthy to help somebody else. They feel like they're fake. You're not fake if you just hold out your hand and say, do you know what? I can see that you're going through your own darkness. Let me pull you out of it. Whatever that is, how small or how big, you don't know what impact anything's going to have on anybody. You know that I did 2 fatal suicide attempts.
I don't know that, but
yeah, like a life of darkness. You know, I've got 3 big chronic medical conditions. I just wanted things to end. In a nutshell, just for anyone that doesn't know, I forgave my dad. I cared for him as he was dying through cancer, you know, and
I saw that. That must have been an incredible thing for you to do.
For me, I'm not that type of person that can let somebody die alone. Me. Everybody else is completely different, but I just couldn't let another human. For me, it's just not fair. I can't cope with that. Like you were saying, you're that type of person that just wants to help. I just couldn't. No one wants to die alone. Whatever you've done, you just don't. And I was living in Leeds, drove home after.
I've lived in Leeds as well.
I do.
You have been in a few places.
I do love Leeds.
I love Leeds as well.
It's good, really good city. Young,
love it.
And the pubs are straight across from the shop, so it's like
love it. Just love the place and the atmosphere of the people.
So I drove home, and this was September, late September. And then early December, I found out that my partner of 5 years was cheating on me. And it was Christmas, and my partner had gone away for the weekend for friends. And my trigger used to be drinking. And we all know that it's a depressant.
Total wrong thing. Creates a lot of bad energy and bad decisions. You're on about bad decisions. A lot come from alcohol.
Wow. Everything has a consequence.
Yeah.
Earlier on in that year, we just got engaged. So we had a couple of bottles of champagne. So I necked those, and I was taking morphine for pain and
bad mix.
So I just took a whole month's worth. And luckily, my partner came home because they forgot their charger and found me medically dead on the kitchen floor.
Wow.
And the next few days when I came around in intensive care, you know, they broke 3 of my ribs to get my heart started. Sorry.
Oh my God. What a man, Lee, to be here right now. I appreciate it. Every bit of it. You're getting here and passing that message on. Love it.
I didn't die. 5 months later, personally, I think the crisis team in the UK isn't particularly great, and it could be better. I just didn't get the support I needed. You know, when you do a suicide, once you're medically fit, you get discharged from hospital, but you're still in the same mindset that you was when you went in. And 5 months later, I'd lost my job because I was still drinking, because I was trying to cope, and did it again. And, you know, my friend, you know, don't you? When you're close to somebody, you know something's not right.
Yeah.
Even though they're lying through their teeth.
Yeah.
Or just know. She came over, and her partner had to give me CPR, and I still didn't die. And I just thought, maybe it's not my time. maybe, you know, I believe that when we're born or before we're born, we have a contract, something that we need to do or accomplish in this life or someone's life that
I agree with that.
I agree. I believe that I didn't die, and the guy that jumped off the bridge didn't die because that wasn't his contract. That wasn't his purpose. We'd not finished what we was here to do. So maybe.
I agree. Do you know what? I agree so much. Like the thing that I told you that happened to me, I think that was meant to happen because actually what I'm going to do because of it is going to help a lot of people. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to pass it on, and I'm going to use this thing because I've got something going on that's to help people to not just get through life, to bloody enjoy it, because we only get one of them, and every day is a new fresh day and it's a new beginning. And like at the minute, I mean, the UK has normally got the most terrible, like anyone else in the world is to this. The UK's weather can be terrible, can't it, Lee? As you know, sometimes it can rain for 3 weeks, and we can still find the happiness in that. And it's like, or someone who lives somewhere we know, like, you know, that all these external factors that are against us or with us or whatnot, we can still keep going and keep doing it and keep moving. And I think everyone, like, you're inspiring people. I think everyone, it's like once you start clicking how to find the mission of to make life happier, it becomes like the most enjoyable thing that you've ever done, because you start seeing these things that we can do every day and every week. And it's not to suggest we won't get bad days, like yesterday you had a bad day, but these things that we can do can give us a new lease of, you know, new like lease of life. And life is actually, you know, pretty amazing.
Yeah. In both of the books, I talk about there's a skill that I developed. Sorry, it still blows my mind, and
I love it.
The skill is called who am I? Because so much happens in our life, we just lose who we actually are. We don't know who we are anymore. And I teach you how to self-love. And people are like, oh, you know, self-love, that's a bit cliche or whatever. The reason why people feel so alone is because they don't love and like themselves first. Like I was saying earlier, we're always looking for other people's approval. If that's the case, you will always feel lost, no matter what you are, who you have, or who you're around. But people think self-love is easy. Do you know what? It's got to be the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, because it takes constant daily effort to love yourself.
Constant.
You know, personally, I don't look in the mirror because I don't particularly like looking at myself. And that's why I don't like this, because all I can see is me, which is not so great.
I've got used to it now, but I have the same. I only ever look at myself in, like, I look at myself in the mirror once a day. I do my hair, and I need to look in for that. Other than that, I'll tell you what happened recently. Give you an example of that, right? This is quite a good one. A bit honesty. When I was younger, like I mentioned about the grey, I was obsessed about losing my hair when I was younger. I take tablets and stuff now. I don't know if they work or not, but I've been taking them. 3 weeks ago, I was out with my son. I've got an older son, he's 21, so they give each other a lot of hassle. And we were away camping, and he goes, bloody hell, Dad, hairline's receding a little bit. And I went, what? He went, well, it looks like your hairline's receding. So he went off with that. I never even thought about it then. It was in my subconscious mind, going back to that thing that you... So that was in it. And then a week ago, I was in the pub, and this guy said it to me. He went, bloody hell, what's happening to your hairline? It's going, it's going. And then he said it. So the next day, when I was younger, what I used to do is I used to do this, look and always be like looking at it, right? So I went to go back to an old pattern of behavior where I was going to do that. So I did it for about 10 seconds. I started doing that. And while doing it, I actually caught a glimpse of the rest of my face. And I started thinking, because at 43, I've started getting lines here. I get these red things here. And I started thinking, if I'm going to start analyzing this, I need to analyze it all. So I felt on that day what a movement I've made. I don't care anymore. And once we get there, and one of the things I just look in the mirror at the beginning of the day every day, and that's it. I don't do it again, because I don't know what that means or whatnot, but I don't see, it doesn't make me feel good or bad either way. So I just don't do it. Funny, isn't it?
Two things. One is about the hair loss. So remind me of that. If I get sidetracked, I'll let you know how to reverse, going bold, and stop it in its tracks. Like literally, medically. You know what you were saying about, someone pointed out your hairline, and then made you conscious. So you're touching your hairline, and then the guy in the pub mentioned it. At that point, you should have said, I'm not bothered. It doesn't bother me. We all like lose our hair.
No, I am there now. No, if you'd have said that 20 years ago, I'd have not come out of the house for 6 months. That was the thing that had crushed me in the past, but it's just a thing of the past now.
I think the important thing is to remember, whatever anyone's going through, to stop somebody dead in their tracks. Narcissist, toxic person, negative, whatever you want to call it. You need to show the world how to treat you by how you treat yourself. If you back down and let somebody infect you or, say these hurtful things to you, you'll just take them on board. And like you was just saying, we then swirl it in our minds, over process it and build it up until it's huge, and then it makes a massive impact on us. So just whatever someone is saying to you, just stop it.
I think a blessing is because of the amount of time I spent working on myself. I am indestructible to what people say to me. There's nothing that someone can say that if something that I think inside me that's my thing that I have to worry about, and I don't really worry about. I've never been a worrier anyway, but I've obviously suffered at different times with. I didn't think it was anxiety, but it was anxiety, and I didn't think I got nervous, and I did get nervous. I didn't think I was fearful, and I was. And what got better was realizing that I'm all of them, and I still keep going. I did these lives. I'm not bothered by them being live because what's been different? We've had one. I've not said his comment actually. I've got a guy who made a comment. It says, "I should have said this before." His name is Grey with Glasses. Since I started my YouTube channel, he's a guy called Bassi. He lives in South Africa. Every one of my videos I've ever done, and I'll tell you, it's a test of your mindset making videos. I don't know make videos, and then you're like, some are not that good, but I still do them.
Yeah.
He commented on every one and gave me a positive thing every week. In the end, I did a podcast with him because I loved him. He made me feel so good by being caring. He takes a real man to admit that he is at fault and not to try and pull all blame on others. Forgiving yourself is even more difficult, and I respect you guys for that. That's what we were talking about earlier. I should have said it then, but we were flowing. But Bassie's a hell of a guy, and I absolutely love the fact it's been on our journey.
And it massively does. I mean, my TikTok is only at 15 whatever thousand.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But
I've got 359 subscribers on my YouTube, and I'm glad about them. You've got 15,000.
We all have to start somewhere. No. But I did one video, and I was stood outside of a food bank, and for me, like my greatest fails in life would be to be homeless and to use a food bank. That's personally just for me. And I was stood outside Salvation Army because I'd not eaten for 2 weeks, and I just thought, I'm just going to do this TikTok, just get it done, because someone else out there may need to know that they're not alone if they're going through this. And that's been seen over, I think, 458,000 times.
Wow, well done. That is inspirational. Well done. Superb.
But it was just raw. There was no lighting. It was windy and cold in the UK, and I had my fleece zipped up, and I looked like rubbish. And people can feel your emotion. Just let them know that you're not perfect and that you are suffering and you're like everybody else. And like you are and like I am, I think I connect like I do with people because I was a hairdresser for so long.
Of course.
I had to learn to listen to what people are actually saying and then read between the lines to try and help them get to their end goal. Just be you. You're uniquely imperfect. Perfect.
No one's perfect. And even the people that you think are perfect are so not. You know what I mean? We've all got imperfections, Like on the whole, my transformation as a person is I used to get mad a lot. I used to be angry. I still get a little bit angry. Was it yesterday? So, I was going in my son's room and I had a cable, and he'd managed through being a scruffy little get to get that cable on 20 cables. So I'm in there. Oh, it was like I needed to go. It was from my golf bloody battery. And I'm trying to get it off. And I'm like, Lucas. And he's not even there. And he's like, he's such a honestly, if you saw the pit of his room, he is 14. So you can imagine it all. It's not strange. But when you experience it, I was mad. And I thought to myself, I don't really get mad anymore, but I do still experience it. And I hope one day it's less now than it was 20 years ago by about 5,000%.
Yeah.
And it can only get better. Yesterday we were driving along and I saw the old me on a guy. I've heard about him, this guy in my town. He's a big guy, he is, and he's a bit mad. We were driving along and he was on a phone call you could see he was having an argument and he looked nuts. He looked like if you were pitching a film and the guy was going to come in and bully you, this was this guy. And he was that. I mean, we all went past him and I thought, I've been there where I was that mad and I've learned not to be. Because mad, what mad does, it is like a self-destruction, self-sabotage, and it destroys everything subject that you add to the mad. If you add any subject to mad, you'll get an almighty bad equation at the end of it.
Yeah.
Whereas you have to get mad to go to calm. You must only answer with calmness and not with madness and not,
Yeah. Step back, take a breath, calm down, reassess it because you'll see it completely different. I've got a condition called Klinefelter syndrome. So my body doesn't make testosterone. So I have to have it prescribed by a doctor and have injections for the rest of my life to get beard and, to function like a guy would function. So I am a guy. I identify as a guy. I just don't make testosterone.
Wow. I've never heard of that.
Yeah. Klinefelter syndrome. It affects 1 in 660 men in the UK.
Right. I don't grow a beard, really. I wonder
if you've got a kid, you probably don't have it. 99% are infertile.
Okay.
But a good way of knowing is the size of your testicle.
One of them?
Pardon?
One of your testicles?
No, both. Well,
all right.
Yeah, both. So a guy with Klinefelter, your testicle size is probably the size of like a small almond.
And that's smaller?
Yeah, tiny. So the average UK size of the average testicle is roughly the same size as a ripened fig from a supermarket. And then...
So I don't know why I had to check. I still had him. Yeah. And a lot of people don't know this. But while you're going through your process of figuring out what the right testosterone level is for you, because we start at 0, my teen years, I was horrendous. My anger issues were huge. I literally hated everyone. Right.
I would just fly off at anything. But because your anger is so strong and so powerful, it doesn't allow you to have any other thought process than what you're hating at that point. So I get that. Personally, I'm not an angry person because my testosterone now is balanced. So I'm pretty stable. But the early years, like when you were saying, when you was younger.
I think being younger as well, though, you're confused. I think you're quite confused when you're younger. No matter where you're from, what background it is, how lucky or blessed you've been, you're still confused by age.
We're just trying to figure out who we are.
Yeah.
It's like anything. The more you do something, the more you learn, the more you understand. We get to this point in our life, in our 40s, where we're not really bothered about other opinions.
Yeah.
Opinions, and you just take life as you want. But when you're still trying to figure out who you are as a kid, it's super confusing because you've not known yourself for very long. You may be 20, but if you take 10 years out of that when you was a kid, maturity wise, you're still 10 years old. You just don't know yourself or the world around you.
Do you know what I wish? So one of my things that I actually did a YouTube video on it, selling one of my YouTube videos, and it's about what we were discussing before, and I do it now. My son at 21, he's doing really well because you've got someone behind him telling him about, like, you've got to tell yourself the story that you're going to be. And a lot of people tell themselves a story that who they are and where they are now, and it stops them going forward. Whereas you have started telling yourself a different story now. You've started telling your story of what you're going to do, what you're going to achieve, and who you're going to help. And now it's starting to go and it's starting to move. But a lot of people block themselves. They say, I'm this, I'm that, and they put a barrier on themselves. Everyone does it. And once we can start saying, I am not someone who's held by anxiety. I'm not someone who's going to be held by depression. We have to start telling each other a different story of who and what we're going to be. And it's not just off the story. It's a combination of events and different ways to look at things, different ways to do things. But all of that will come together to get what you want. But you have to start saying, that's who I'm going to be. And you must have started saying that at some stage. You must.
So all of my life, all I've ever wanted was to get married, to have kids, have a dog. I wanted a donkey.
Why a donkey?
No idea. I wanted a nice house, I wanted a nice car, and I wanted a secure job, and I wanted holidays. Now, I don't want any of that. I mean, I would still love to get married, and I would still love to have kids. Like, I really...
Are you in a relationship at the minute?
No.
No. So you're single? So you are currently single, Lee?
No, and I'm more than happy to be single.
Oh, you want to be single, all right? But he's currently single, but doesn't mean that you wouldn't, if someone came and was this amazing?
Yeah, maybe. And it's mad because since I've started getting coverage, everyone thinks that just because I'm single, they need to set me up. Do you know what? For the first time in my life, I actually like me. I love spending time with me. I don't need validation from somebody else because I validate who I am. I validate me. I think sometimes we want other people to celebrate us. I was talking to someone the other day quickly. So I run a group, male survivors of abuse, because we need to talk about these things.
Of course, I totally agree.
And one of these guys, he just split up from his girlfriend, and his life has ended. He doesn't want to.
He thinks at the present moment, he thinks that he's portrayed that thought in him.
And he feels so lost and lonely. And members are chipping in and saying, oh, blah, 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 she's not worth it, whatever. And I just stepped in, which I don't really do much because I like people to communicate between themselves. Just stepped in and I said, you know what? Once you learn to love yourself, anybody else's love is extra. And it'll just change. You'll want to be with someone else. You won't need somebody else. And I think that's really important to remember, that you have to validate yourself for things to start changing. It all starts with you.
Everything.
If you want to
happiness starts with you. Energy starts with you. Everything is in. It's not you. Like, other than, I'll tell you what you can actually do, and what always does. I got a buzz out of this, so I'm like, I feel good. We're having this chat. I know that every podcast I've done so far makes me feel good. That's why I'm not nervous about it, because it's like this great exchange between these. We only pick great people, and you're one of them. I've been excited. You were nervous. I was mega excited because I'd seen your story, and I thought, wow, amazing. What a transformation. I love it. I'm excited. So while you were nervous, and I picked up on your nervousness at the beginning of it, because you were similar to me when I'm, you do a similar thing to me, sort of thing. And you're not now. You're totally, we've got to the end. We're near the end, and I've seen you, and it's been brilliant. I'm loving it. I'm
just talking to you like I'm about to do you a 2 back and sides, a square neck, and a trim off the top.
Do you know what's mad? I bought before, like, Sarah was an hairdresser, so I married a hairdresser. I had an issues with going to hairdressers when they said, what do you want? I never knew what to say. Right, you get in. Yeah. I remember one example, got in. Do you remember when, what they called the line there? The wedge. The wedge was in fashion. So you go in, I went, so I knew what I wanted this time. I want a wedge. What do you want? Can I have a wedge, please? And he went, under the ear or over the ear. Now, I'm also indecisive as well. So I'm like, no, I just go under the ear. So he cuts his wedge under there. And he goes, is that all right? Yeah, I love it. Straight to another hairdresser's because I didn't like it. I didn't just say, why can't I not?
And that comes down to confidence, and that comes down to knowing yourself. But, it's years, isn't it? You need to know that, actually, no, it's not okay. and I'm going to let you know that it's not okay. We can communicate and then change things. I am a great believer that if you want to get somewhere and you don't know how to get there, but somebody else in your circumstances or has your medical condition is achieving something that you want, reach out to them, ask, learn. You know, we have the internet that is constant, 24/7. You can always access the information. You can always learn a skill. Go to the people that are doing the things that you want to do and learn from them. Most of us will give you advice and support you for free. We don't want anything other, because when good people do good, they continue to do good through the rest of the world. Just help each other. So let me just say this. The reason why you lose your hair.
Go on. I'm not worried about it. I'm 43. I think I'm not bothered about it anymore. I'm just saying it's an old me, and that's what I needed to recondition. But go on though, because I know loads of people are bothered.
I would like hair.
I'd like a beard. I'd like some kind of beard.
We'll swap. I'd love to.
But go on, finish, because someone might want to know this.
So as we get older, we lose our amount of testosterone, but we also have estrogen and progesterone in our body. So progesterone increases, testosterone decreases, and it makes a new hormone called dihydrotestosterone, or DHT. This new hormone lengthens the shedding phase and shortens the growing phase of the hair follicle. So we're losing more hair, we're shedding more hair than we can keep up with. We end up with male pattern baldness. If you're in the UK, you can go to your doctor and they'll prescribe you a DHT blocker, one small tablet that you take every day. But bear in mind, if you don't have a medical condition like Klinefelter or something that you're taking hormones for, it is only available on private prescription. But that tablet will stop your body producing dihydrotestosterone. Your hair will start to recover and you'll start to regrow your hair back and it won't drop out. It is pretty
This is you in expert. You are very good at remembering big words. I'm dyslexic, and one of the, like when I thought you struggled on a word before. I thought, that's great, someone else. But then you just rimmed off like more words. I'll never remember any of them. And it was all like, this is going back to your job, isn't it? This is floating back to the.
You know, I was an expert in chemicals.
Yeah.
A hormone is a chemical. It was my job to know this. So
Are you not doing it anymore? Is that it? You're not doing anyone's. You're not.
Do you know, I've got Crohn's disease, and I have an ileostomy, and I use catheters, and I take a drug called methotrexate, which is a chemo drug for the Crohn's.
Right.
And it leaves my immune system open to pretty much catch everything. So
okay.
I ditched hairdressing. Now
it's an absolute germ fest. Do you know what amazes me? Because obviously I've been around it. I've had the hairdresser for 15 years. Some people come in ill as hell, and they expect, like, the hairdressers come in and they're going coughing, and what you think, because they're a super spreader behind you. So you bring your illness in here, give it to the super spreader behind her, and they're going to be around all these people every day. That's, people don't think often. If I was ill, I wouldn't put myself around someone because I am a bit of an ill foot. Not where it's a problem, but I've always, like when COVID came and everyone, like, I've always avoided ill people all my life. If someone's ill, I go like this. Hiya, mate. You're all right? You know, I have always done it.
I think, you know, like the pandemic, my sister, we don't get on. We're just completely different.
Same, exactly same.
So I learned to love her from a distance. But she was obsessed at the end of the, oh, my hair's desperate for a trim. Oh my God, my hairdresser is cancelled. It's the end of my life.
Yeah.
I get that that's important for her, but it's just a trim.
I know.
And people would come into the salon, head back in the basin. So we're stood over you, they'd cough. Straight faces.
I know.
But then when your hairdresser has a day off because they're ill, that's probably between 6 and 10 clients they're missing in a day. Then you've got a backlog because most hairdressers work days a week of 60 people.
It's a nightmare.
I loved hairdressing, and if I could do it and make a good wage, and not work 60 hours a week, have varicose veins popping out of the back of my legs, your feet hurt so much at the end of a busy week where you can't physically walk to the loo, your legs are throbbing, I'd probably still do it.
Well,
Minus
you want to work here because I give them a right good commission rate. They get a lot. They get paid more than any hairdressers anywhere because I did it as a gift. Because it was with my ex. Don't like calling her my ex-wife because it sounds like it's an ending where she's not. I now call her. You notice at the beginning I said it's my kid's mum because she is, but she's my friend as well. Like I see her more as a sister. I have the same thing with my own sister. I have difficulties because I can't. I've always wanted to help her. In a sense, I've wanted to change her to be more of someone. She has all these things that happen to her. I can see how they're happening and how they're produced by herself, not looking at herself and blaming and all that kind of things. And I've tried, and after a bit, I find it difficult to be around her because she's still a victim of herself. And then you're a victim. I'll give you an example. I got my Sarah to cut her hair for her because I own a salon, but they all work for themselves. So it's not, I don't actually have anyone who works for me. Yeah. So she does it. And then my sister tells my ex-wife that the person I'm with now, I told my nephew that what's the term you'd use for someone? She's my, what's that term? It's something gone. When you say it was like a godly thing, she's like my, like that. It was like an angel had delivered her. She tells that to my kids' mum I was with for 20 years. I felt gutted that she's doing a favor for me, doing my sister's. Well, it's her old sister-in-law. Yeah. But do you know, some people say the wrong thing a lot, and it hurt. You know, my Sarah was obviously bothered by that. You know, who would? But it's that I can't stop her from saying the things that she says, and some people are guilty of not thinking before they speak.
Do you know what? In the first 4 minutes that we started this, you say, good listener, you've got to listen to what anyone's saying. You said something along the lines of, if people don't want to be helped, you just have to leave them. You have to make that conscious decision that you need help, that you want to change.
You're totally right.
Because no matter how much help you get, you just won't do it.
No.
I know what I need to do to get into shape. You need to go to the gym. You need to put the effort in. You need to eat right. You need to blah, 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 blah.
Or walk. Or just walk every day so long. Just so you know, walking every day is as good as all them things you say.
I would love to have a ripped body like Ryan Terry. Like, I literally love
Ryan who? Ryan
Terry.
Who's he?
He's a model for Cymex, USN.
Oh, right. Okay, right.
He is beautiful. His wife is beautiful. Their home is beautiful. His life is beautiful. And he's from Manchester as well, so I'm surprised you don't know the guy. And he's salt of the earth. I would love my body to look like that, but I can't be bothered. It's not going to happen. You know, you've got to put the work in. It doesn't matter how amazing your plan or program is. If you don't put action to that plan, it's just a plan. It's just a piece of paper. Do the work.
I totally agree. I've just got this actually. It doesn't actually mean it. So I've just got this. I've started journaling, and like I'm putting together a bit of a thing, and I've got to do it. So that's my new thing. So we're going to finish now. And I thought with forgiveness, I called this one about talking about forgiveness because I personally have learned to forgive people. Because if you don't forgive other people, that energy that they've left you with eats you up. So if you're angry, like someone's done something to me and they're out of order, but if I keep hold of that anger and don't forgive them, or it's not necessarily forgiving me for having my feelings for them, then I can still keep feeling it. And I think being people go, I'm not forgiving them, but then all the time in their life they'll beat you and they'll do you and they'll take everywhere you go. You take your thoughts and feelings with you. You have to at some stage forgive it. Do you know what I mean? Forgive whatever it is, that circumstance that we had, and you've forgiven an almighty thing. And you said something before about, I thought it was amazing that, and I'd read it, that you helped your dad. I've got a biological dad that I will never help because of his things, that he's got his own little things that I wouldn't do it for anything in the whole world. I wouldn't do it. Do you know what I mean? So I think that was amazing that you chose to forgive that. Super, like next level kind of.
A lot of people say that I've suffered abuse or sexual abuse or whatever from a parent or a sibling. I could never forgive them. Fine, that's your choice. But by not forgiving them, you're doing an injustice to yourself. Just because you forgive, it doesn't mean that you're saying to this person, what you did to me is okay, I accept that. It's not. It's just letting go of their CRAP. Just let it go.
Yeah.
So that you can move on and become the person you've always known yourself to be. Don't give them the strength or the power over you. Just forgive. And, you know, it's incredible. It really is freeing. You can literally break free from anything that's holding you back.
I agree. I saw it. We'll finish it. I saw this thing. It was another YouTube. Like, I watch endless stuff. I'm right into that Sophia dancing at the minute. Oh my God. You know that she does them little dances? You must have seen it. She's just got the most smiley, happy face you've ever seen in your life. And I think I can do one of them dances. Yeah, I've got kids that are similar, you know, young kids. But I watched this thing. It was in a courtyard in America, in a courtroom, sorry. And it was an Asian guy was in there, and this black fella had killed his son, and he read this speech about how he was there to forgive him. And this was quite a while ago. I didn't get it then. Now I understand that what he was doing, it wasn't to forgive him, it was forgiving himself so he could move on, and he could move on the path. And I think that's often forgiveness is about us moving forward with whatever he got. Because if we don't forgive, then we carry that burden. Like an emotion, I used to run away from my emotions. Now what I do is I accept them. When it comes, I go, listen, all right, it's here now. I'm behind watching it. I'm feeling a little bit jealous here, or I'm feeling angry. It's happening. I've just got to see it. I've just got to embrace it and think it's going on, and then I can move on from it. Because I used to run away, and then what happens when you run away? You never leave it.
And people don't do it because it's scary and because it's lonely. But if you do it, the greatness is on the other side. You're not forgiving your abuser. You're forgiving yourself for hanging on to all of that toxin. Just let it go.
Lee, you've been amazing. Absolutely amazing. Tell everyone where they can find your book at. Where can anyone find your book if anyone watches? Where can your book be found?
Both books are on paperback and paperback and ebook on Amazon worldwide. The first book, Break Free from the Suffering Cycle of Abuse, that is free on Kindle Unlimited. On ebook version, it's £3.71 in the UK and $4 in the US. But the second book is more expensive, Break Free from Loneliness and Anxiety, because I give percentage of the profits to 2 crisis charities. So buying that book, you're not just helping myself, you're potentially helping hundreds of others. And then my Instagram is breakfree.lg, and so is my TikTok. But if I can help anybody in any way, just message me, just send me a DM. I will do my absolute best to help you, whatever you're going through. And thank you so much. Like, I've really enjoyed it.
Good.
Like, Matt,
I have
really enjoyed it.
Good. I have. I'm glad. I have.
Thank you for.
So I'm going to end it now, Lee. You stay on though. Don't end, and we'll just have a quick chat offline. But hey, thanks, Lee. Thank you. And I'll send you everything through at the end of it. But thank you so much. It's been brilliant.
Bye.